Yes, hello, I'm Nikolaj Cederholm. I'm a director and playwright from Denmark. And I've been working with theatre since I was a teenager for the last 40 years. And now I'm here in Reykjavik and in Leikhúsinu to do Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator. And actually this is not my first visit to Iceland. I came here in 1982 with the set designer Kim Viðtal when we were just 19, and we traveled all the way around from Seyðisfjörður to Seyðisfjörður and had a lot of trekking and there was rock in Reykjavik here with a lot of bands playing on outdoor stages, and it was quite fantastic walking in with our rucksacks coming into town, and then there was this party going on, and that is 36 years ago now, and now we're back and much better at experiencing Iceland, because when you're 19 it's very difficult to experience so much else than yourself. You're very preoccupied with how you feel and how you are reacting to everything. So it's really nice to be here, and it's nice to work with really skilled actors and a skilled staff here in the house. And we're doing this crazy stunt, making a movie, an 80-year-old movie. We are making it as a live theatre experience. And first of all, there is some basic problems in doing that. When you do a movie, you can cut. I guess everybody remembers, for instance, the globe scene where Charlie Chaplin, as Hitler, is dancing with the globe. And there's a lot of cuts in that beautiful poetic and musical scene that he does. But we have to do it live, and so it demands something different. And Siggy, who plays Hünkel and the barber, is this double part. Every time Charlie Chaplin in the movie changes from one character to the other, just cut. But here, Siggy has to, he walks out as Chaplin, and 2 seconds later he walks on as Hünkel. So there's a lot of logistics in making a movie into a theatre play. Charlie Chaplin is an iconic figure. He's one of the all-time most recognizable persons, I think, with a couple of others like Santa Claus and maybe Michael Jackson and Elvis and Hitler. Yeah. We must recognize that Hitler is really famous. And they share this little beard, this little strange beard that after the Second World War, it kind of went out of fashion, didn't it? I mean, you don't see that many people having, but they had it, and I guess that was Chaplin's, where the idea sprang from, that you could actually make a double part. And he wrote the movie in the end of the 30s. I mean, it's important to understand that he wrote it before the Second World War. And he wrote this it was mocking a state leader from another country, a sitting state leader. It would be like making a play where you mocked Putin or Trump or somebody. Exactly the same. So that was what he did. And there was a lot who tried to stop him, not only the Germans, but also the Brits told him that this is never going to open in London. And fortunately, Chaplin was independent and he had money, so he could do what he wanted. And it was his first talking movie. Although it looks like a silent movie. The aesthetics, the way they play, everything is like a silent movie, but it is actually with dialogue. But a little unsettling thing about it is, of course, that when it opened in 1940, Hitler had gone into Austria. But the World War was not on yet. And here was this artist, this comedian, screaming to everybody, take care. This guy is going to lead us into an uncontrollable world war. Unfortunately, nobody listened. Or at least those who listened could not manage to stop it. So he was actually predicting what was going to happen. And now when we do it, of course, we're not predicting anything, because he was trying to warn us and say, this guy is absolutely insane, you have to take care. We know that. To us, Hitler is the incarnation of evil. So we don't really need to stir up hate against Hitler. We all have that. So for me, it's rather to try to explain how could it be that anyone wanted to follow a guy like that? What did he have to offer people? He was, elected in a democratic election. He was not, taking power with brute force. He had the people with him. And this is also what you could argue happens today with all the nationalistic movements and actually how they talk. Now I've changed Chaplin's originally he was he didn't, when he gave speeches as Hünkel, as he calls Hitler in the movie, he was just talking gibberish and saying a lot of funny stuff. But I've changed it with Hitler's own words from his speeches, so you get this feeling of what is it actually that he wanted to sell. The thing is that when we look at Hitler now, it's the same kind of reaction. Hitler reacted against what you at that time called internationalism, and claimed that if you want to be truly social, then you have to be with somebody else like you in the national state, typically, instead of this internationalism. We call it globalism, but it's the same thing. And when that kicks in, then the nationalistic right will rise as a reaction, which I guess is why you don't have it here in Iceland, or don't have it very much, because there's no big immigration, so you don't have this conflicts that we have down in Europe. It is of course a challenge that in the sense that I have to be aware if they say it right or good or bad or whatever. And I don't understand Icelandic, but I have two advantages. One is that I have written the play, so I know what they're saying. Yeah. And then for the rest, it's a question of sensitivity. I mean, I follow them. I know when they're saying what, even though I cannot speak Icelandic. And I have all the others sitting here in the auditorium, all the Icelandic-speaking people, and it's very clear to me on how they react, whether it's good or bad, or if there's something wrong with a line or joke or something. Normally, the director would do the slapsticks. But the thing is that this is, if you take it seriously, and the physicality of theater, and it's not just some, funny stuff that people do. It has a lot to do with what you think is the most important in theater. Like the word is very highly acclaimed, and so there's a tendency to like tragedy is much finer than comedy and all these strange values. And I think the physical theater it's not being. We don't take it. I'm talking entirely from the inside, not from the audience perspective, but that is not taken serious enough. And I needed a person like Kasper, who do the slapsticks. I need somebody who is actually a craftsman. People are not going to get, the actors, for instance, they're not going to, break and go to pieces before we can open. It has to be somebody who knows exactly, a professional who knows exactly how do you rehearse this, how do you get this working without damaging yourself. And so this is why I need a slapstick director. The Icelandic cast are really skilled actors. They're really good, creative people and technically skilled. So it's very joyful to work with them and develop the material and get everything to work in a very tight timing. They're doing all the sounds, all the sound effects are done by the actors. So when you're not playing, you're probably supporting somebody else playing, and the whole feel of the play is the feel of this is an ensemble play. You have a group of 8 or 9 actors, I can't remember, 8 or 9 actors coming in and solving this task together like a big human machine that fits hopefully perfect to each other and to all movements and sounds and music and everything going on. We have chose to use the old silent movie trick with a pianist playing the score while you watch the movie. But here, of course, it's all live. So we have Carly, who sits in the pit and is playing the music, the score for the whole. It's actually a musical performance, you could say, because there's music almost all the time. And of course we use a lot of Chaplin music because he was a big composer himself. So we choose a lot of his melodies from different movies, and also Brahms and Stravinsky and old German military song and Jewish religious songs and a lot of things. We even have a Talking Heads song. But this is how you used to do it. You know, a guy with a piano, then you have a movie, and then you have to do everything. And they had like a lot of different kinds of music. So then you have a lot of like this means that danger is coming. This means that love is coming. This means that it's towards the end. This means that tension heightens. So you have a lot of different building blocks that you use. And then we have done it, developed it around different kinds of music. But and then there is this with sometimes Carly will take the lead and they will follow him. And sometimes the action will take the lead and Carly will follow them. So he's actually there. He's yet another. You could not call it an actor, but a person that you play with. So you actually have this both the play that you normally have in a band and the one you normally have in a theater going on at the same time. You never know if you are going to be happy with how it ends, because we still have a couple of weeks before opening. But it looks as if it's going to be a hell of a show with a lot of laughing and a lot of action and a lot of people being brave on behalf of the audience. And then there is also this little, in the middle of the laughter, there is also this little sad thing that you are reminded that what he's talking about here in this play is actually our reality today in 2018.